Zoning meeting for September 5th will now come to order. Please stand with us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can we have roll call, please?
Chairman Williams,
Here.
Vice Chairman Shavir,
Here.
Secretary Chambers, Member Faison, Member Baker, Member Taylor,
Yes.
Member Severs,
Here.
Member Noel Copeland.
Here.
Okay, at what point did you want to wait till after the approval?
That's fine.
Okay, so if you go down there, and you know this better than anybody, so.
I think I can recite it.
Good evening, Mr. Severs.
Good evening.
If you would please place your hand on the Bible and I will swear you in. I state your name,
I, Dwight Severs,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States
of the United States
and the state of Florida
and the state of Florida
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
domestic and foreign,
domestic and foreign,
and that I will bear true faith,
that I shall bear true faith,
loyalty, and allegiance
loyalty, and allegiance
to the same,
to the same,
and that I am entitled
that I am entitled
to hold office
to hold office
under the Constitution,
under the Constitution,
that I will faithfully perform
that I shall faithfully perform
all of the duties
all of the duties
of the office
of the office
of the Planning and Zoning Commission
of the Planning and Zoning Commission
of the City of Titusville,
of the City of Titusville,
on which I am about to enter.
and which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you very much, and
Thank you.
congratulations. You may take your seat.
Thank you.
All right. So now you guys are really he has more experience than probably all of us put together. So,
Starting in 1968, sir.
yeah. Next is approval of minutes for August 22nd, 2018. Vice Chairman,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the minutes from August 22nd, 2018.
all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All persons who anticipate speaking on any public hearing item must first fill out the oath card to be heard on that agenda item and sign the oath card contained thereon. These cards are located on the table near the entrance to the council chamber or may be obtained from the recording secretary. This meeting will be conducted in accordance to procedures adopted in Resolution 24-1997. Those speaking in favor of a request will be heard first, those opposed will be heard second, and those who wish to make a public comment on an item will speak third. The applicant may make a brief rebuttal if necessary. A representative from either side for or against may cross-examine a witness. Anyone who speaks is considered a witness. If you have photographs, sketches, or documents you desire the commission to consider, they must be submitted into evidence and will be retained by the city. Please submit such exhibits to the recording secretary. Staff, has the item been properly advertised?
Yes.
And has anybody on the board had the opportunity to speak to anybody in the public about the item coming before us? No. Okay. With that, staff, if you would proceed with the first item, only item.
Okay, so as I think it was told to you, this item, which is right-of-way vacation number 1-2018, has been requested to be tabled by the applicant. It is my assumption that they would prefer to wait until after the next Board of Adjustment meeting. This item was tabled. There are a couple variances associated with this request as well, and it was tabled at the last Board of Adjustment meeting, which was held on the 29th. And so the next meeting for the Board of Adjustment will be this month on the 26th. And based on the outcome of that, the Board of Adjustment meeting, this vacation request may go away. So I would recommend tabling probably for 1 month until the October 3rd meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. However, you can table for more than that time if you would like.
Okay. So we will open this up to the public. And seeing nobody, we'll close it to the public. Are there questions of staff on this item? Okay. Is there a motion on this item to table or discuss? Vice Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to table item number 1-2018, request to vacate a public right-of-way.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, can we take a vote on this?
Vice Chairman Shavir,
Yes.
Member Taylor, Member Noel Copeland, Member Severs,
Yes.
Chairman Williams.
Yes. And did you
I did hear
want a
a-
timetable? Is that what you were?
Was there a date in the motion? I did not hear a date was stated by the motion for the time that the item would be tabled to.
So I would, if you would clarify your motion, and if the second will,
Well, can I turn it over to, do we need it?
I would concur with your recommendation of October the 3rd.
Could I get another roll call vote with the
Yes.
concurrence of the second there?
so,
Thank you.
Vice Chairman Shavir,
Yes.
Member Taylor, Member Noel Copeland, Member Severs,
Yes.
Chairman Williams.
yes. No, I caught that too, but I was like,
I'm sorry, I missed.
Yeah, so this will come back before you on October 3rd, then pending the outcome of the Board of Adjustment meeting on the 26th of this month.
okay. So that was the only item. So we'll go to reports, and you had on here a TEC member.
I did just want to, I know that I have mentioned this before, we are still needing someone from this commission to volunteer to serve on the Titusville Environmental Commission. Now, since all members aren't here, I don't expect necessarily an answer tonight, but we just wanted to put that, that thought in your head and see if anyone would be willing to do that. I know several of you on this commission have already filled that role, but we do need that. It is part of the requirements of the land development regulations.
So if you guys want to take this home and reconsider, and maybe it'd be wise to send out a note to each. Now, can a alternate serve on that as well?
The Code of Ordinances, Section 31-122, which is under the Titusville Environmental Commission section of our code, states that at least one of the members of the commission shall currently be a member of the City of Titusville Planning and Zoning Commission. So it doesn't specify regular or alternate. I think that any of the members would be able to serve on the TEC as that dual member. There's also a sentence that says the Titusville Environmental Commission may designate a member to serve as an alternate to the Titusville Environmental Commission that is the current member of the Planning and Zoning Commission. And so that means that the TEC may send a backup to the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting if the designated dual member is not able to attend said meeting. So I can elaborate on that if any of you all want to go into further discussion, but the reason this is on the agenda is so you can discuss amongst yourself and ask questions of staff if you have any regarding this position.
So if, when's the meeting? Not that I'm putting my hat in the ring here. I've done it before, but when is it? Plus, I literally,
Second. I believe it's the second Wednesday each month.
okay.
That is correct.
At what time?
5:30.
Right, and that's very difficult for me.
And I can send out a reminder to all the commission members, and I'll also include a copy. I think the next time they will meet is this month, correct, Lori? Okay.
But, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt.
and I was just gonna say I could include a copy of their agenda just so you can kind of get a feel of what they're currently working on.
But if we have nobody from the commission that feels it, would it be possible to, I mean, as long as we have somebody in there, I'm thinking maybe an alternating, like, I could do it one time every 3 months or something, and then maybe another member, we just take turns and saying, hey, I'll do it this day, and then maybe another member can do it another day.
So we make sure we have coverage, but it's not the same person.
Right. So, I know the rules, I'm just saying a way to fill the slot, but right now, we don't have, all right, go ahead.
Is the commission, I'm sorry, is the Environmental Commission still meeting once a month?
Yes, sir.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Because I remember there was some discussion briefly that it would, maybe they would go to every other month or so many times a year in terms of quarterly meeting. And I wanted to know, because that with my experience on the commission, okay, and the way they conducted things, it's not a bad idea to be able to do that. And I'm just wondering if any thought has been given to that, because I think it would make a difference, at least for us that are involved in planning and zoning, if the meetings weren't cycling with each other.
Sure, I can't say they haven't had a meeting for a couple months. When was the last time they met, Lori? July? Or no, June?
August was canceled due to the room being occupied by another meeting.
Okay, so they don't meet every month necessarily, but in general, they have pretty much a standing once-a-month meeting. There's typically something on the agenda for them. It's rare that they have a cancellation due to a lack of agenda items that you'll see sometimes with this commission. But, so yeah, it is pretty standard typically.
Would planning department, your staff consider doing every other month or something like that, so that you can count on, in other words, whoever the membership is, in other words, it would be a regular routine. You wouldn't have to be constantly reminded whether you're going to have a meeting this month or you're not.
I mean, we as staff would be willing to consider that, so long as we got direction either, from the TEC and the city council or the city council, if they felt that it wasn't necessary for that board to meet on a monthly basis. We would certainly consider that, sure.
Well, my point is just as a suggestion.
Sure.
You might want to consider that. And then I might consider it again.
Okay. Mr. Sievers?
Whenever I put my application in for Planning and Zoning Commission, Mr. Broom raised that question with me as to whether I would be willing to serve on it, and my answer to him, and it hasn't changed, if no one else is willing to serve, I'm willing to serve on it. Once upon a time, I believe that TEC had their meetings just before the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, so as to avoid, so there wasn't as many meetings.
Right.
And how that could possibly work, I don't know. But I would certainly defer to any other members on the Planning and Zoning Commission to serve, but in the absence of someone willing to do that, I'm willing to fill in.
Okay, thanks for letting us know. Like I said, I'll at least share it with everyone on the commission beforehand, and then I'll bring any information I get back to you at your next meeting, and we can go from there.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I served on it many, many years ago. I think it's a really good commission. I do. I think you served on it for a very long time.
Well, Mr. Broom indicated to me they had expanded their duties and responsibilities. Is that correct?
Okay.
There was a recent code change to allow for the membership and the scope to include sustainability issues, and to allow the council to appoint non-city residents in the event that there are not sufficient members applying from the city of Titusville, to include residents of North Brevard. But the focus of the ordinance change was to include sustainability issues as a focus of the core responsibilities of the group.
Do you want to define what sustainability is? I think I know, but
I do, but I don't, because sustainability applies to many things.
is, for example, having an adequate water supply a sustainability issue?
Green Building Initiative?
I would consider those things sustainability issues, but I don't know specifically what in the realm of sustainability as a whole the TEC is currently working on. I can speak with the staff liaison for that board and find out, but I don't know what their current priorities for this year or even next year are kind of shaping up to be in terms of that.
I can tell you that the city council's direction for the ordinance change was based on incorporating sustainable policies as a city, and what purchases and investments we could make that would further our sustainable initiatives and things of that nature. So what sustainable policy recommending about sustainability is the expanded scope of what they're looking at. The question that council had was, what sustainable features could we research as improvements to our city facilities? And that was one of the tasks that was given to the TEC at the end of last year. And at the end of that special project that was assigned, then the code was amended to expand the scope to sustainability, to keep the current commission that we have in place and not to create a whole new sustainability board, which was the direction that Satellite Beach went in. And the idea was discussed as to whether or not we needed just a sustainability board. But because we have our environmental commission, the scope was expanded, and that's how that went down.
Well, the plus thing is it'll give them topics to go through. When I was on it, there really wasn't a lot there. And I remember that I wanted to see something pushed on the, was it LEED buildings and stuff like that. And so the board at that time did not want to push anything. And so that's not why I dropped off. It's just that I believe that we should have got something on the books at that time to at least get a foothold and start. And, encourage some LEED development, not out of the, crazy development, but, and then the focus was just kind of all over the board. And, but anyway, I do believe wholeheartedly it's a very good board, worthwhile, and I hope that you have members that are proactive on that board and can push some of those and knowledge. And so, and I know you would be very knowledgeable with your history. And so anyway, Vice Chairman, did you have anything else?
You've probably heard me say this before, but part of the problem, I think, with the Environmental Commission was trying to get information on current issues involving like green buildings initiatives and things like that. And I think, being honest, I think there was a problem in as much as I don't know how much time staff had to do some of the work and research to get back to us. And I know we were given the task of doing that research, and of course, most of us are working, and we didn't have the time to really look into it. We would start something, and the next thing you know, it would just drag out forever, and we just couldn't put together a statement or a comment or put together some project that we would like to see. And I'm wondering if staff, if things have changed at the staff level to do a little bit more research to help the Environmental Commission achieve some of its goals, because we were not able to do that.
If you're asking, I don't know that there's any change in staff composition. I don't think that there has been.
Information, we would request information, and then we were told to go get it ourselves. And frankly, we were just not able to do it to the point of where it was a cohesive, understandable, doable project. And we just were not able to do that as individual members, to put together an objective and present it to staff and go to council and get it approved. We just weren't able to do it because we didn't have the time or the information or access to the information to do that. And so that's one reason why I'm here and not helping there.
Understood.
Okay, I think we're in way better shape than what we were. So if we have somebody that's willing to step up and handle it.
Like I said, I will send out a reminder, and I'll let you know if anyone volunteers, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Hopefully they do.
All right, so we'll go, we'll just go through reports. Do you have anything else you'd like to report? City Attorney?
I do. After the last meeting, Chair Williams signed a memo that's being presented to City Council regarding the removal of one of your members. Aaron Faison had failed to attend 4 consecutive meetings. There is a code requirement that states you must attend your meetings. That's why you're here. If you miss 3 or more, then you waive your position, and City Council must be so informed by the chair. And so this is your friendly reminder that if you don't want to do that, if you want to remain on the Planning and Zoning Commission, and we're happy you're here tonight. I wanted to also add, though, that Mr. Faison expressed his apologies for not being able to participate in the capacity he had hoped to, and he also wanted me to share his message. He asked, would you kindly advise the City of Titusville Planning and Zoning Committee of my resignation due to an increase of work-related travel? I would like to remain in consideration at a future date should my travel requirement for work subside. I have enjoyed being a part of the committee and look forward to a time when I can be fully engaged. Thank you for your consideration, Aaron Faison. So I just wanted to give you that message and let you know that now we have one vacancy as for the regular members and one vacancy for alternate member position. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Well, it's really too bad. I was hoping that he would stay on. You know, I thought he was a good addition. But I understand. And now, are you a regular member?
Yes, sir.
Good
Till
deal.
January.
What? Really?
Until January.
Okay.
I didn't know you could do that.
Okay. All right, so we will go to petitions and requests from public present, and then we'll go down. Member Noel Copeland.
No report.
Vice Chairman Shabir.
No report.
Member Severs.
I had 3 items, but perhaps I'll defer a couple of them until we have a full complement of members. One I want to go ahead and mention, even though the school board representative is not here, and I made these comments to the city council, plan on attending the public hearing tomorrow at the school board. I was heavily involved once upon a time with the city council in opposing the closing of South Lake Elementary. The school board voted 3-2 to close it. I realize it's been reopened now, but as a school of choice. So no district boundaries have changed whatsoever. What concerns me is the city of Titusville, if it wants to be a viable city attracting residences, businesses, and industry, must have a strong school system. They seem to go hand in hand, and a lot of realtors will tell all of us that's one of the first questions somebody asks whenever they're calling in, and I'm going to go to work at the Space Center, and they're interested in the city of Titusville. I have 3 elementary school-age children. What are your schools like? This last year, in June, the grades came out for the schools. There were 23 A schools in Brevard County. That includes charter schools. In District 1, other than Sculptor, which is a charter school not operated by the Brevard County School Board, there were 0 A schools in all of District 1. In 2013, when South Lake closed, it was a B school. As you may recall, before that, Whispering Hills Elementary was closed. And those schools that were assigned, those children that were going to South Lake, some more than 500 students, went to Imperial Estates, Apollo, Coquina, Oak Park, and Mims. Matter of fact, unless they've changed the boundary, Mims, where we're sitting today, is within the Mims school district. The elementary child here will go to Mims. That's the way the boundary lines are drawn. Interesting enough, looking at the school grades for 2018, all 5 of those schools that I just named have a lower score today than they did in 2013. For example, Apollo, which was always one of our, I'll call name brand schools, in 2013 had an A. It has a C currently. It has gotten a little bit better this year compared to last year, where Mims and Coquina were D schools, and now they're C schools. But it's very discouraging for the city of Titusville. I went to those public hearings, tried to argue against it. The then superintendent said, there will be no impact upon the students or the schools. Frankly, that was farthest from the truth, because there has been a dramatic impact. For there to be 24 A schools in Brevard County and only one that is a charter school in all of District 1, which goes all the way down to the B line, whatever, the beach line or whatever you call it down there, goes all the way that far south. Not one of schools is an A school. So I'll be going down to their public hearing and saying, you need to allocate additional resources for our teachers, for our students, for North Brevard, for our schools. And I feel as though a very big injustice has been done by the school board to the city of Titusville. And what I've learned over the years, unless you speak up and be heard, the greasy wheel normally gets the, and a lot of schools around the county, and frankly, I blame all the way, as some of us know, once upon a time, the district school offices were here in the city of Titusville, once upon a time. And then they went to individual districts. You're elected from your individual district. So there's a lot more territorialism because the District 5 school representative, he's not voted upon by the residents of the city of Titusville whatsoever. And I think we've seen the impact and what that's done to the school systems in North Brevard. And I would urge all of you to think about that, and because it is a part of planning and zoning and planning for the future and having a good and viable school system to support development. So that's one of my concerns.
You had something else? Or you had three, but you...
I will touch upon that probably at the next meeting.
Okay. Vice Chairman.
Can you tell me what criteria makes an A school? What's the
The state
criteria?
of Florida, it's the FCAT scores.
So it's strictly the scores?
Yes.
Okay, end of year
Yes.
scores, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, and I mean...
And they keep moving that bar higher and higher. But for District 1 not to have one publicly operated school that has an A is sad.
Yeah, that's
Pretty
very
bad.
scary, and I will say,
Pretty
like,
scary.
my company is moving a lot of operations from California here. I mean, you have an influx of jobs coming in here, and then those people are looking towards Titusville. The scary thing is that they're also looking at Orlando. They're looking at Canaveral. They're looking at Cocoa Beach. They're looking at Merritt Island. But in my honest opinion, if I was to work at the Cape or the Space Center or even here, I would rather, I don't like driving. The commute is, but if it was a choice between my kids' education, you sacrifice. And so it is important. We're seeing, I wouldn't say a resurgence just yet. I mean, it's happening slowly, but it is a very important factor in where people locate. The bad thing about the politics in Brevard County is, not that, I mean, I appreciate it, I do, but South Brevard has most of the power, it appears. And that's on both boards.
To partly illustrate the point, is it was a 3-2 vote. Whenever it came to the school in South Brevard, that the 3-2 vote that closed us, that individual flipped his vote. So it was 3-2 to keep it open. Guess what? That school has gone from a C to an A. Interesting enough.
So, anyway, that's awesome. I think it's awesome that you're on this board. I mean, I'm very, very excited that you're here. So, very, very excited. All right, so let's wrap this up. And Member Taylor.
No.
And I have nothing, so we're adjourned.